Hi guys, welcome to Geek Coding Academy. Today we'll see what you mean by buffered streams and data streams, chapter 7.4. So in our previous video, we talked about on introduction to Java IO, types of streams, and file IO. If you have not watched that video, please watch that video prior to this. In the today video, we'll see on buffer streams and data streams. So let's get started. So what do you mean by buffered stream and data streams? So these are the two most important classes in Java, okay, for handling input output operations efficiently. Okay, without this, we can able to do IO, that is input output operation. But if you want to make efficient input output, you need to use these two important classes, that is buffer streams and data streams. Let's see one by one. What do you mean by buffer stream? As the name suggests, it uses some buffered memory in between a program and your file, so that instead of going every time byte by byte, so the what it will do is this buffer stream, it will take out a chunk of data at one shot and keep it in a temporary memory, so that our program can go and fetch from the temporary memory instead of directly going into a file or a network. Okay, so the buffer streams, which improves the efficiency of input output operation by reducing the number of read or write operation. Okay, so because every time it should not go and call a network or go and pick a file. Okay, so that will cause performance. Performance will be more like I mean like performance will be less if it every time it go and contact a file. So instead of that, if you use these buffer streams, so there will be a like one buffer layer where at one shot it will bring a large chunk of data, so that our program will interact with it. Okay, um, so what are the key classes under this buffer stream? We have buffered input stream and buffer output stream. These two for byte level operations, that means non-readable format of data, and buffer reader and buffer writer for readable format, that is text related data. So let's see an example. Before going to that example, let's see how they work. So these basically the buffer streams, they add a buffer. I already told you, a temporary memory area between a program and the actual IO stream. Okay. So if you don't use a buffer stream, the IO stream directly contact a file or network, right? But this buffer, what it will do is it will fetch some large amount of data and store it in a temporary memory, so that our IO stream just contact this temporary memory. Okay. So instead of reading and writing one byte or a character at a time, these buffer streams read or write chunk of data into a buffer memory or from the buffer memory. Okay. Let's see an advantage. So the very first advantage for using these buffer streams was the performance will increase. So it improves performance by minimizing the number of interaction with the disk or network. Okay. And it's suitable for scenarios having a large data transfer. So when there is a large data, so every time we can't go and access a byte by byte or character by character, right? So the best practice is to use a buffer streams. Let's see its usage. As you can see here, have a class here as a buffered reader example. Under that, I have a main method. So here, I'm just using a example.txt file. Okay. So this my data was available in this file called example.txt. For that, I want to read. This is a readable type of data or a character data. So I have to use this file reader. So I'm using new file reader class. I created an object of the file reader and passed the location of this file example.txt. But while catching, I'm not directly catching with the file reader. Instead of that, I created a one more object called buffer reader. For that buffer reader, I passed the reference of this file reader. Why? Because here I'm using a buffer reader to increase the performance. Okay. So here I'm using a buffer reader of type reader. This is an buffer reader type variable where is equal to new buffer reader. In that, I'm passing this my file using a file reader. So here you can see in our previous videos and all, we are initializing with the integer, right? Like because we are reading a character by character or byte by byte. But here we are reading line by line because anyway we already have data in my temporary memory, right? Using in a buffer reader. So string of line while I'm taking in a variable line which is of type string here. So line equal to reader dot read line. So it will what this reader dot read line will do is it will read line by line. So my line gets the data and also I'm checking if it's not equal to null. Means when it reaches at the end of the data, end of the page, if there is no data further, it will provide us null. This reader or read line. If we get a null, I'm just coming out of this loop. So I'm just printing up here. I'm not doing anything using a system.out.println. So if there is an exception, I'm catching an exception. So guys, whenever you're using any IO operation, it's a must and should to put a try catch, and we have to handle it properly. So that the previous example we saw with the buffer reader, now we'll see about buffer writer. So buffer writer is similar way where I need to write a data to my output text file. I'm using a file writer only, but instead of catching this reference with just a file writer, I'm just catching this reference with a buffer writer. Okay. So and also you can see writer dot write the entire string I'm writing up here. Instead of writing byte by byte, I'm writing a line by line now. Okay. So this is all about buffer streams. Then what do you mean by data streams? Let's come to this data stream part. So these data streams are specially designed to read and write primitive data types. Okay. So wherever you want to use a primitive data types, you have to use a data streams because it will preserve the coding, preserve this encoding, especially when you converting data types from one platform to another platform, these data streams will preserve that. So wherever we are storing these primitive data types, we have to use these data streams like int, float, double, etc. And also string values in a binary format. We can use this. And as the name says, data streams for primitive data types. So that's the reason. Like what are the key classes we have is data input stream and data output stream. Okay. Let's see how they work. So these streams handle primitive data and string directly. Okay. Making them suitable for binary IO operation. So the binary format ensures data compatibility when transferring between different platforms. Okay. So this will preserve the data compatibility when we are transferring data from one platform to different platform. What are the advantage? Advantage is simple. That is ideal for reading and writing structured data, and it preserves data types, avoiding a conversion issues. So wherever we are using primitive data types, we have to use these data streams. So let's see an usage. Here I'm using a binary data, means writing binary data with the data output stream. So I have a class called derived data output stream. So inside a main method, I just want to write binary data. So writing a data, I created a one binary file here, data.bin. For that file output stream, I used to write the data into a file. But instead of catching it with the file output stream, I'm just wrapped it around data output stream class again because I want whatever data I'm going to write into that data.bin, that binary file, is what the primitive data. So I don't want that to have any issues when I transfer that into a different platforms. So I just want to cover it with the data stream, that is data output stream. So after that, device dot write int 123. That means like I'm writing in an integer 123, and write double method means I'm writing in a double 45.67. Obviously, I'm write UTF. I'm writing in a string which is in a format of UTF, Unicode encoding. Hello, data streams. Okay, this is how we are able to write a um, you know the primitive data. So let's see how we can able to read from a data input stream. So yeah, similar way, just want to read the data which I previously added, right? In my previous program, data.bin, I just put it into a file input stream. So this file input stream, I wrapped it around data input stream so that I can easily convert back to the actual values. Like int of number is equal to ds dot read int, because while storing, I just stored with a write int. Now I'm reading with the help of this method read int. So it will automatically convert from byte to primitive data automatically. So read double, it will convert back to double, and read UTF, it will come back to my string. So all this thing I'm printing up here. So let's see the comparison between these buffer streams and data streams. So purpose will be different. Like a buffer stream where we want to handle with a large data where performance should be increased, and every time we don't want to go and hit the network or go and hit the disk to fetch data byte by byte or character by character. So instead of that, we could have used these buffer streams. So it improves performance by buffering data. Whereas data streams, its type will be it read and write primitive types and strings. So data type is it works with both bytes and characters, but data streams and as primitive types and UTF encoded strings. Use cases will be like where we have to use buffer streams is when there is a large file operations and also text files involved. Whereas in data streams, a binary data and structured data IO, that means primitive data types. So examples of these buffer streams were buffer reader, buffer writer, buffer input stream, buffer output stream. So example of data stream should be data input stream and data output stream. So this all about theory, guys. I know it's little boring. So let's make our hand dirty. Let's get into programming. So let me open my IntelliJ. So as you can see, I already created a class called buffered and data streams demo, where written a program for both usage of buffered streams and also data streams. So inside of my main method, I just created one text file.txt, and one binary file.bin. Okay, to use it. So first step, what I'll do is I just write and read text from using a buffered streams. So first I'll write data to this text file. First I'll create this text file and write a data to this text file. So to write any data to a text file, we need a file writer, right? So I use this file writer with the text file, the name of the file which I'm going to create and write data using in a file writer. And I'm wrapped this around using in a buffer writer. Okay, because using a buffer writer, we can write string only directly. So writer.write, this is a sample text file. Writer.new line, I'm just giving enter, means come into a new line. Again, writer.write, buffer streams are efficient. These two lines I have written into this text file. After that, I'm printing um, the one successful message, that text returned to text file. If there is an exception, our catch block will catch that exception. Okay. Now I just want to read that data which I added to this text file. So for this text file, to read data from a text file, we have to use the file reader. So new file reader with a text file, and I'm wrapped it around buffer reader. So um, I just started this out like static from. I'm just started reading from this text file. After that, I initialized a variable called string, and I created a while loop. While line, that what variable I created, line equal to read or dot read line. It will read line by line until end. That's why I use not equal to null. And I just printing. I'm not doing anything. I'm just printing the data which I returned earlier into a console. That's it. This is all about binary streams. Let's see how to use these data streams. So for data streams, I created one binary file using in a file output stream and wrapped it around data output stream, because I'm dealing here primitive data. So device.write int 42, device.write double, and device.write UTF, data stream preserve data types, both string which is of UTF type, and primitive data types I have added here. I just written a successful message after I written a data. Okay, I need to read a data from binary file, right, which I have added here. So for that, I use the file input stream. Okay, file input stream means taking an input from that binary file, and I'm wrapped it around the data input stream. So for that, um, I uses these int value, double, and string, because these three values I have added in the file, right? So I'm using this DIS, that is data input stream dot read int, data input stream dot read double, data input stream dot read UTF. It will automatically convert from byte to primitive data types without any loss. Okay, after that, I'm printing all these values and finishing the code. So let's run this code. You can come to know. Okay, I'm just running the code. So as you can see here, text return to text file.txt. A txt file got created here. If you go inside of that, you can see this is a sample text file, new line, buffer streams are efficient. So text has been added. Oh, so we used a buffer stream to write a text into this file. Now we use the buffer streams, buffer input stream to read a here. You see, we use a buffer reader to read a data from the text file which we added earlier. That is, this is sample text file. Buffer streams are efficient. Okay, this is all about buffer streams. Now we go with the data streams. In data streams, binary data return to binary.bin. So we use a um, data input stream, data output stream to write a data into this binary.bin file. Let me open this binary bin file. See, it's not supported because data streams preserve data types. We can't able to open this binary file. The only way to read this file is again use the same reading from binary file using a data input stream. Okay, to take an input from this file, where I'm just taking all this int, double, and UTF which I stored earlier, right? So it will be there int 42, 123, 456 is the double, and string which I stored earlier. So guys, this is all about today's concept. Like we learned what you mean by buffer streams, why we have to use, and we learned what is data streams and for which type of data we need to use the data streams. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Please share this video to your friends and colleagues, and please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so that whenever I upload a new video, you will get an instant notification to your mobile. So this is all about today's session. In my next session, I'll come up with a new other concept. So till then, keep watching, keep learning. Thank you. Bye.